famous hieroglyphics of the ancient Egyptians to the mysterious talking knots of the Inca, here are the 12 strangest writing systems ever used. This is Throwback Thursdays. Number 12. Theban Alphabet. The origin of this alphabet remains something of a mystery. It's claimed to have been created by a man named Honorius of Thebes around 500 years before it was discovered in the 16th century. It can be used to transcribe Latin or English because the alphabet's letters correspond to Latin letters. It's unknown as to whether Honorius ever did exist, but the Theban alphabet has found a popular use in Wicca since the 1950s. Many Wiccans use it as a substitution cipher to camouflage secret texts and spells. Because of that, it's become equally well known as the witch's alphabet. Number 11. Nushu. In the Hunan province of southern China, you'll find a script that dates back to the 12th century, and some sources suggest it goes back centuries before that, but it's only used by women. Until the 20th century, girls had no opportunity to learn Chinese script because they were prohibited from going to school, so older women taught them Nushu. The name literally means women's script. It was disguised as various designs on paper fans and embedded in embroidery. Each Nushu letter represents an entire syllable, and there are around 1,000 letters a student must learn. While it's no longer customary for women to learn the script, efforts are being made to preserve Nushu, and some younger women are starting to learn it. Number 10. Runes. The All-Father Odin discovered the secrets of the runic alphabet while hanging onto a tree without food or drink for 9 days. Mortals inhabiting Midgard would likely recognize runes as letters that appear in runic alphabets. They were used to write various Germanic languages and for certain specialized purposes connected to magic or prophecy. The earliest runic inscriptions date to around 150 AD. As cultures that used runes were Christianized, the Latin alphabet came to be the standard by 1100. Until the early 20th century, runes were still used in rural areas of Sweden for runic calendars and decorative purposes. Did you know that runic inscriptions found on stone monuments are called runestones? Number 9. Maxi Script. The writing system known as Maxi is used by an ethnic minority in a province of southwestern China, who are also identified as such, that being the Naxi. The script dates back to around 1,000 years back and is composed of pictures which read not unlike panels in a comic book, but some words are seemingly unconnected to the meaning or are replaced with pictures of another word that sound similar, while some words are left out altogether. Due to those complexities, the script can take around 15 years to fully apprehend. Today, the system is only used by local priests, of whom there are less than 100. Number 8. Calagrams. These are visual images that are formed out of small words. Because some variations of Judaism or Islam prohibit the images of living things, calagrams provided a way for visual artists to transmit the message and still remain devout to their religion. An example might be a series of words written about a tiger. The words are formed in such a manner as to evoke an image of the animal. Around the 9th century, Jewish scribes began creating pictures composed of tiny Hebrew letters. The process was called micography. It was used to create illustrations of everything from living creatures to abstract designs composed of relevant text from scriptures. The practice has been adopted in certain Muslim societies where Islamic calligraphy has been adapted to the Arabic alphabet. Number 7. Tiffen. While the Phoenician alphabet had pretty well died out around 1700 years ago, a variation of it has survived to the present day in North Africa. The exact origin of Tiffen still is not completely known, but it is commonly used by the Berbers, an indigenous people of Morocco and Algeria. For political reasons, the language was outlawed in Morocco, but was later reinstated and authorized as the official Berber script. Tiffen is largely composed of perfect circles, dots, and right angles, which give the script the appearance of geometric formulas. Number 6. This system was referred to as the Celtic Tree Alphabet. That's because all the letters are named for assorted types of trees, and the symbols somewhat resemble trees as well. It was used primarily between the 4th and 8th centuries AD in medieval Ireland, although some sources claim that Ogham dates to the 1st century BC. It consists of what appear to be tally marks or lines that were carved into stone or wood. Strictly speaking, Ogham refers to the writing system as a whole. The individual letters are called Beith Luis Nin, and I hope I'm somewhat close on that anyway. They're named after the first couple of letters of the writing system, similar to the way alphabet is derived from the Greek words alpha and beta. In the inscriptions that survive, most consist of personal names. Number 5. Cuneiform. This is among the earliest forms of writing and was developed by the Sumerians in present-day Iraq. It's notable for its wedge-shaped markings made on clay tablets with a stylus, usually a blunt reed. It started off using pictograms, which later became more simplified and abstract. The use of cuneiform had several drawbacks, though, including complications from one symbol having multiple meanings. It was a difficult language to master, requiring years of intense study by dedicated scribes. Cuneiform script was gradually replaced by the Phoenician alphabet starting around 911 BC. Knowledge of how to read it was lost until the 19th century when it finally began to be deciphered. Number 4. Suqba script. This writing system is largely pictographic. That is, it conveys meaning through the pictorial resemblance to a physical object, and it's used in religious written works of the Ursu people of Tibet. They're considered an endangered minority of around 20,000 speakers, but it's believed that only 10 are able to comprehend the Suqba script, and these are likely priests. Because the pictograms can't fully render the Ursu language, the script was unlikely to be used for day-to-day written communication. Today, it's used primarily for religious purposes. Speakers of the language are more likely to use Chinese or Tibetan scripts for their daily concerns. Did you know that Suqba script is the only known script that incorporates color into its structure? Number 3. Protoelamite Script. You can call this written language a mystery that spans several millennia. Written from right to left, the script was first used more than 5,000 years ago in what is now present-day Iran, and is unlike any other ancient script. The Protoelamites appear to have been influenced by the cuneiform tablets of Mesopotamia, as they went on to invent their own unique symbols. Unfortunately, they didn't keep accurate records of those symbols, resulting in some 1,600 recovered tablets remaining undeciphered. In 2012, a group of Oxford scholars released high-quality images of those tablets online in the hope that crowdsourcing might help decode the Protoelamite script. The project is ongoing. Number 2. Egyptian hieroglyphs. It's one of the world's oldest writing systems, dating back to around 3300 BC, and it's likely the most recognizable script on our list. Hieroglyphs are characters in any writing system in which symbols represent both objects and ideas. But this complex system of hieroglyphs represented both the sounds and characters that symbolized words. Because these hieroglyphs appear so often in tombs, it's more likely the script was employed mostly for religious and formal purposes. Egyptians had another simplified script called hieratic, which was used for everyday purposes. The ancient Egyptian script was written in the Greek alphabet in the 1st century, and a form of that is used today by Egyptian Coptic Christians. Knowledge of hieroglyphic writing was lost in the 5th century, and the symbols weren't deciphered until the 1820s with the help of the Rosetta Stone. Number 1. Quipu. This is among the most unique ways of transmitting information. It uses knots tied into string, hence the name talking knots. It dates back some 4,600 years and was used by the Inca. Among other applications, talking knots were used for taxation, historical information, astronomy, and may have even been used for maps. Only the numbers have been deciphered by experts, but archaeologists think the system contained both words and numbers. It's not completely known whether the knots' position, spacing, or color may have held particular significance. Did you know Spanish conquistadors prohibited their use to prevent secret messages being communicated? Less than 800 collections of the knotted string survive today and are often found inside graves. Experts think they may contain the life story of the deceased. This is Throwback Thursdays.